Hey, what's up? It's Comic 95 The Savior, and for this video I want to talk about something that I kind of saw a while ago, but I wanted to address it now because I had somebody on Patreon that actually gave me this video idea. So this is not a topic that I normally speak on so much because I am a straight woman and I'm a foreigner here in Japan, but I had a foreign guy send me a message, and it reminded me of a couple of stories that I saw a while ago, not pertaining to a patron, but other foreigners living here in Japan. And I want to make this video to serve as somewhat of a warning to other foreign men. Now let me clarify for all of the weeboos that are going to attack me for making this video in advance. We are not talking about the US. We are not talking about Europe. We are not talking about other Asian countries. I don't care if you're from Korea, you're in China, I don't care if you're, from or in Europe, US, Mexico, I don't care where you are right now. This is not about those countries. We are talking about Japan and Japanese women, okay? I don't care about women from other countries. We're talking about here. It's okay to acknowledge that maybe things could be better or worse in your home country. And it's also okay to acknowledge that some things are worse and crappier in Japan. Don't make fallacious arguments and change the subject. So now that we have that out of the way, I should also add another disclaimer. My children will be Japanese. They will be both Japanese and American. So I'm not making comments in a way to try to, be insulting or degrading to Japanese women. My sister-in-law, who I love, is a Japanese woman. This is not saying that they're all like this. Don't add words into my mouth. Just listen to what I'm saying and take it for what it's worth. We do not sugarcoat and talk politically correct here. I'm speaking to you bluntly as though you were my friend. When you go out with your friends, you have to explain in detail, well, I don't mean this in a racist way. I don't mean it in this way. No, you don't have to do that. Let me also remind you that Asians make up the majority of the world. They are not minorities, and definitely not in this country where everybody is Japanese and foreigners are the minority. So, now that we're done with that conversation, let me go back into the topic of this video, as the title alludes to. You have to be careful when dating these Japanese girls here. And I'm not going to get into all of the different reasons why, but we're going to talk about one specific reason. Gold diggers. Gold diggers and players. So, normally I talk about things from the, female perspective with us dating Japanese men, obviously because I am a straight female and that's who I would be dating. I'm married now, so this no longer pertains to me, but I can of course talk about my past experiences being in relationships and being out on the market myself. So, basically, long story short, I have noticed a trend, and this is without me even being a man. If you're a man living here in Japan and you've experienced this, please chime in and give your 2 cents down below. I would love to hear other stories from other people. But there are a lot of Japanese women that use foreign men for the purpose of getting gifts, going out for expensive meals, and using them without ever even meeting them. And so there's a few different scenarios in which this happens. There's people that are falling for super obvious, I'm sorry, I gotta be real, but these crypto scams, how are people falling for this stuff in 2024? I just don't get it. And especially when it comes to people that are young. I can understand some boomer or whatever that's an idiot and thinks this girl is truly your girlfriend or your friend. I'm giving y'all some tough love, gotta keep it real. Please, for the love of God, I don't care if somebody claims to be your best friend and it seems like it's real, lucrative, whatever. I don't care how pretty this girl is. Anybody. I can use myself for an example. I told you all before, my email got hacked before, an old email that I don't use, and of course I had to, revamp it and change passwords, etc., and use 2-factor authentication, whatever. Please don't attack me again, people. But no, just keeping it real. I literally had multiple times, at least 2 or 3 different times, people steal my profile picture and create fake Instagram accounts, fake Facebook pages. I've had people make fake dating profiles, etc. Sorry, y'all, I was fighting for my life just a second ago. I started choking. I was drinking some coffee and I guess, something came up, went down the wrong pipe. But long story short, where was I? Yes, I've had people do all type of crazy stuff using my picture and ask people for money, and my channel's not even big, and so that's nothing to keep in mind. A lot of people that are smart and trying to scam people, they're starting to use people that are small influencers, people that don't have any sort of social media presence at all, so that this way it's really difficult for you to find out that this person is not who they claim to be. They'll use no-name people from different countries, etc. So, for example, I had somebody use my picture and pretend to be in Miami, Florida. Gave themselves they named themselves Hannah or something weird like that. Long story short, they made an OkCupid profile, pretending to be me. So, all I want to say is this. If you have not met the person in real life, don't do anything online dealing with money, tickets, anything like that. And so this is a problem here in Japan. And the other false thing that people commonly believe, people always assume that the person could not possibly be Japanese. Because we have this idea that they're like these holy, innocent, perfect, loving, kind people that would never do such a thing. It has to be those dirty, horrible Chinese people, right? Like everybody tries to say. And I feel sorry for China because, I mean, like, damn, like, they just, catching strays everywhere. They're not even doing anything. Don't get me wrong. There are Chinese scammers, just like how there's Nigerian scammers, etc. I'm not pretending like that does not exist. But there are literally Japanese people living in Japan, not even necessarily women, but men pretending to be a woman, to lure you in using fake pictures. And the girl's picture might be a Korean girl. They might be pretending like they are Korean, but really it is a Japanese person living in Japan scamming you out of your money. They're on all dating sites. They're on Pairs, they're on Tinder, they're on Bumble, they're on any app that you could think of. They're on language exchange sites, etc. They'll pretend to be your friend, and you become friends with them, but they know that you're really their friend because you find them attractive, and you think you have a hot friend, and you're a shy-ish guy. You think, okay, I can be her friend and learn Japanese, and then eventually, maybe I can ask her out on a date. Yeah, these girls are using you. And I know it's difficult because there are women that are legitimately looking for a relationship online, legitimately wanting to date, not trying to use you for your money, etc. But you do have to be careful. And the easiest way to do this is ask yourself, why would this woman want to talk to you? Look at her. And look at yourself. Be honest with yourself, especially if you're not a man that has status. Because I'm going to keep it real with you. We're not going to be politically correct here. Women love men that have money. They love men that have money. They love men that have height. They love men that have status, through their education, through, connections, networking, knowing people, etc. And for people that can't stand women that are quote-unquote gold diggers, Asia is probably the worst place for you to go as a man because they normally want this information right up front. And I don't blame them. I'm totally 100% supportive of it. That's how I met my own husband. But long story short, for those of you that are American watching this, or I imagine even from some European countries too, I don't know how Europe goes, but in the U.S., it seems kind of taboo and it's inappropriate to want to know somebody's salary on the first date, which is, I think, is completely stupid. It makes no sense, regardless of what your reasoning is. If you're dating somebody in a serious level and you're planning to marry them, you want to know their financial background, their education, because you want to determine, do you want to make babies with this person? Do you want to marry this person? And guys think that it's crazy, but they have no problem having sex on the first date. Most don't. In fact, for most guys, they don't want to go past 3 dates without getting, head from you. And it's like, okay, so risking an STD in pregnancy makes sense. But the idea of me knowing what I'd be signing up for upon marrying you, that's a crazy question to ask. Alright, whatever. Anyway, not gonna go there. And it's unfair because guys know what they're getting up front. Even if the girl's profile pictures are completely misleading, when you meet her in person, you can see what her height is, you can see what her body type is like, you can hear her voice, etc. Even if you weren't able to get that beforehand. And nowadays with social media, even if you don't see these pictures on their dating profile, you can use common sense as a guy. A girl that is only posting pictures of her face, has no body pictures whatsoever, we can assume that she's fat. We could also assume that a girl that, I don't know, has super Photoshop photos of her face, she's probably ugly. If all of her pictures is her wearing, beat face, full of makeup, fake hair, etc. She's probably bald-headed, probably not good looking without the makeup. Just keeping it real with you. You can make these assumptions. After you've dated so many women, you can piece together, okay, just like for me as a woman. Alright, speaking from a straight perspective, I know that if I come across a man, 9 times out of 10, I have dated at least 2 people that have shocked me, that did not bother to list their height, and they were surprisingly 6 feet tall plus. I was like, wow, I'm shocked. Especially being here in Asia. But generally speaking, if a guy doesn't have his height listed, it's because either he's very short, as in he's probably going to be shorter than me, or at least he's small and, shorter than the average Japanese man. Generally speaking, guys that are under 170 centimeters seldom want to list their height. It's rare. Especially if the guy is under 167 centimeters, they really don't want to list their height. So you can assume. You can also look at the photos, etc. Is that ideal? No. But you kind of get the gist of it. Long story short, even if you can't tell before you meet, you will see once you meet her in person. Now, the only question that you might have to still ask is whether she has children or not. But being here in Japan, that's not really something you're going to encounter so much because, yeah, that's a whole other story. So, let's keep the conversation simple. What I'm talking about is there will be guys that have no money, don't have height, not attractive, nothing special about them whatsoever, and they'll get a message from a girl that's like really, really drop dead gorgeous, beautiful. She claims she's from Korea, sometimes even Japan, etc. And these guys just simp after them, fall for them, willing to do anything for these girls, even if they've never met them in person. That is a scam. No Japanese girl is going to go on a date with you or be your friend and months into your friendship. I don't care if it's a week into it, 3 months into it, 6 months into it, and suddenly be like, oh, how about you invest in this crypto site? This coin, you're going to make so much money. Yeah, I promise you, it's easy. I do it too. Can you picture a Japanese girl saying that to you? Can you picture any girl saying that to you? And I always wonder, like, how are people falling for this stuff? And then I realized maybe I'm just smarter than the average person, because I literally follow a YouTube channel here called, I think it's called Social Catfish or whatever. Basically, they took like what the Catfish MTV show does, and like they started their own thing. I think it might have actually been around longer than that. I have no idea which came first, but long story short, they have a more realistic version of it instead of a made-for-TV, crazy, exaggerated, yeah, this person knew they were being scammed. These are people that genuinely are just like, I guess, I'm sorry, no, there's no nice way to put this. Very lacking in the intelligence department, very lonely. And it's sad, some of the cases. Some of the cases, you deserve to get scammed. But other cases are messed up, where like the person is in a marriage and their wife or husband knows that they're being cheated on, and they still are sticking with their partner, they don't care, and then you find out this person's giving away, $500,000 to somebody that doesn't exist, and it's some Nigerian scammer in Africa. So, whole nother topic. But, yeah, all I want to say is this. Nobody, male or female, it doesn't matter who, should ever be talking to you about investing in anything. Not crypto, not housing, not stocks, etc. Anytime that conversation comes up, it is a scam. Stop falling for this stuff. Get the stupid idea that Asians, and in particular Japanese people, are these holy people incapable of lying to you. And it shows that you have a lot to learn. Because Japanese women, keeping it real, they are much bigger gold diggers than any American girl will ever be. Even the average, sweet, nice Sachiko that you're probably thinking of right now, I promise you, she wants just as much money and status as Becky and Shaniqua do. So I promise you that. Because see, a lot of people have this dumb mindset where they think that because of this stereotype, Japanese people are so polite and humble and they love their work. I don't know what it is, but it's like the men here cannot fathom that a Japanese girl can use you for money, and they'll even justify it. And it's funny because like things that they would never do for an American girl back in our home country, they would gladly do for a Japanese girl and pretend like they're okay with it. So for example, they will, invest in money. They'll give money, they'll buy gifts, they'll buy rings, crap that they would never do for an American girl, definitely not within a few months. But I guess the reason being is people want to get a spouse visa. I don't know, but I see this happening here all the time. And so this isn't so much of the necessarily most common story you'll hear, because a lot of people are ashamed and they don't want to mention this stuff, and they want to downplay, oh, it was a friend, or whatever. And again, being a millennial, being somebody that's what do they call, is it called a Zoomer? What do you call Gen Zers? Whatever you want to call these people. Being a part of that, because we both grew up in the digital age with the internet, I would think that we should know better and stop falling for this stuff by now. Why would you invest in anything to somebody you've never met? I don't care if they're pretending to be your friend. You probably have friends that you've known since you were in grade school. Have they reached out to you about investing in Bitcoin through whatever app or website that they made or know of? Would you invest in it if they told you to? So why would you do that with a complete stranger that you don't know? I just don't understand that. So, this isn't to attack those people. I'm trying to warn you not to end up like them. Because I feel like these stories need to be talked about more to warn more of us. And it's so much easier to pull off of foreign men, because foreign men are thinking with their dicks. They're too obsessed over the idea of, being friends with or having sex with an Asian girl, specifically a Japanese girl. And I feel like they drop their standards down so low, they allow themselves to get played. One of the sadder stories that I've come across here, and this was one of the ones that was actually messaged to me by somebody on Patreon. I guess not someone opened up my door, but anyway, on Patreon. And so I want to kind of mix both of these stories, the one that I read about and the one that somebody asked me about. And so I'm going to change it up a little bit. I got permission from the person to share the story, FYI. This is a video idea that was submitted. But basically, it is another scam where a Japanese girl will pretend like she wants to go on this date with you, and she'll have you make a reservation for something and have you buy the tickets for it, and then stand you up and not actually go with you. Or she will take her ticket and she'll go, but not with you, just to go with herself, alone, or sell it to someone else, or take that ticket that you gave her, go out with another guy, another friend, etc. Please, for the love of God, Do not ever, a Japanese man wouldn't even do that for a Japanese girl, FYI. Do not ever buy anything for someone that you have not met with in person. And you might think you maybe met this person in person, right? You've already met them, so you don't mind buying a Disney ticket for them. Seems logical, right? You got to see the person. They seem like a nice girl. Think to yourself, if she really likes you, and you really trust her, and she should really trust you, why can't you all meet at the same time, at the same place, somewhere, whether it be the train station, one of you guys' house, meet together and go to Disney together? There is no reason for you to be buying somebody a ticket for any experience in advance and you give them their ticket and you guys just meet up there. That is beyond stupid, noob mistake. I feel sorry for people that do stuff like this, because do y'all not have friends here to teach y'all game? So anyway, not to bash these people, like I said, I'm warning you, don't be fooled by these girls, okay? And a lot of guys don't get it, because see, Japanese girls are masters at this, and I learned how to play this game too. They will pretend like they have zero interest in your money, like they have no interest in your status, no interest in anything about you, pretend like you're just the cutest, whatever, sweetest guy in the world, act like they're your best friend, act like they really like you, act flirtatious with you, to get what they want from you. I promise you, no girl that will ever date, if you're a man that has money and education, I'm not talking about these broke ass niggas that think they're rich. I'm talking about men that really have money, okay? Foreign men that really have money, and Japanese men, they treat them both the same. Japanese girls will be all over you if they know that you have money, no matter how ugly you are. And they know how to pretend like they're not with you for the money. Same thing goes for, women in your home country. But see, there's more of a, how can I put it, a stigma, because we talk about it more, whereas I feel like this conversation does not get talked about enough in Japan. And I've mentioned this several times on Patreon and a few times on YouTube. If you look at the way that likes go on pairs, this backs up what I'm saying. So F my opinion, F what you think about me, it speaks for itself. Look at the profiles of, people of the opposite sex, for example. From the woman's perspective, you could probably ask a female friend of yours to show you their app or show you screenshots. I have some of my own that I've shared before. If you look, so from my perspective as a woman, when I look at profiles of men get way less likes than women do on pairs. For obvious reasons, same way that Tinder goes. Because women are a lot pickier with who they're going to send their likes to and who they want to receive messages from. Women feel like, and it's not even a matter of feeling like they're more attractive than they really are, but rather they have more options, because men are driven by their desire to have sex, the desire to settle down as they get older, etc. Whereas for women, we can get sex easily without thinking about it. In fact, we get so many offers and requests for it, we get annoyed by it. Not to mention we have dirty, nasty men that we never want to have stick their stuff anywhere near us, etc. We have so many options, especially if you're an attractive woman, to, get food, to get gifts, to get, whatever you want, that you don't care about, the offer of a free meal. It means nothing to you. Whereas for a man, a woman offering to take you out for free meal, it's like, me? Really? Even if she was the ugliest bitch in the world, you probably think, maybe I wouldn't mind going out for some steak. I gotta pay for it. So long story short, because of that, it is a lot harder for men to get likes. So for example, the average man, I'd probably say, has somewhere between about 40 likes or less. Once you start looking at 50 or more, generally it's because the guy is either tall, he has money, or he's exceptionally handsome. Almost always one of those three reasons, or all three. Education should also be factored in. Men that do not have at least a bachelor's degree get significantly less likes unless they are rich without a degree. That is just facts. Women will pretend like they don't notice or care about these things, but I love the fact that pairs shows you how many likes the person has received. Because see, with Tinder, the only thing that you can see is if the person's really popular, they might suggest that you swipe right on the person and send a super like too. However, it doesn't tell you how many people swipe right on that person, so we don't even know what the criteria is for you to be considered as popular. Now, I know during my Tinder days, I stayed within that realm because I actually paid for paid memberships, like so many likes I was getting. On a daily basis, I would max out over the 999 likes, would just permanently stay there. Like, as soon as I swipe left or right on some people, it would end up going right back up to 999. So, anyway, this is not to brag or talk about myself. I'm just telling you, it's very different for women. Because from my perspective, I can't imagine going on Tinder and having 3 likes or whatever, like how guys complain about. But that's the difference. I will also add there's women that have that same issue too. Because while yes, the average man is just mindlessly swiping right, that is not always 100% true. If you are truly unattractive and are older as a woman, and truly just unattractive, and again, truly, because a lot of girls think they look better than they really do because they don't. This video's for men, but girls that are listening, a lot of girls think they look better than they really do because men will literally have sex with anyone, anything that has a vagina or not. And with that said, a lot of girls think they look better than they really do because men are willing to sleep with them. Not to mention, especially in the US, and I imagine some other countries too, like including Japan, having things like large breasts, a big butt, etc. If you really want to see if you're attractive, have no photos showing your body, just your face, and see how much attention you're still getting from the opposite sex. You will still get attention even if you're not cute, but I promise you it will dwindle significantly. That is the true, telltale sign, whatever you want to call it, of beauty. Get rid of the filters, get rid of all the makeup, all the hair, etc. Your natural self. Not 100% natural, you know what I mean? Like, light makeup, a little bit of extensions, whatever. And this is not directed towards black people at all, so y'all don't get in your feelings. White people are literally the ones who I believe even invented hair extensions and stuff like that to begin with. They use it too. Asian girls use it too. These things are not exclusive to black women. That's not the purpose of this conversation. I'm just telling you, a lot of women think they look better than they really do, when it's like, no, you're not cute. Your family has been lying to you, and so have your friends, because nobody wants to say, damn, bitch, you ugly. Look, I'm gonna be real with you. If you're friends with me in real life, I ain't gonna tell you that you're ugly. I ain't gonna lie and say you're cute though, but I ain't gonna tell you that you're ugly. It's not my space to do that. It's not my place, not my purpose. I don't have the right to do that. And of course, beauty is somewhat subjective. It's not truly subjective because there's some things that we can overall agree on, but we can also keep it real. No matter how cute of a person you might be, you get put inside a room with the right people and you become the ugliest bitch in the room. So, that's a whole nother story. So, I'm talking to men though. So all I want to say is this. Getting way off subject here. Japanese girls recognize height, money, education, and more so than height, because yes, you'll get more likes, but you're not going to get like 500 plus likes on pairs for being 6'2". However, what will get you 500 plus likes? If you make 30 million yen or more per year, girls will send you likes, even if you are 5 feet tall. And I'm not exaggerating. I will literally go through pairs and I will see guys. I took screenshots of it and I was going to make a video of it. They were like 157 centimeters tall. And I'm like, this dude is like, what, 5'1"? 5 feet? No way. These girls don't like that guy because he's cute. He's ugly than a mug. But guess what? He has money. And I'm not bashing these girls for doing that, because like I said about myself, as I got older, I had to realize dating men based off of their looks is stupid. If you know that you want to have a lifestyle of being able to travel, have your kids in private school, you want to have a nice ring, you want to do things like that with your life, you're not going to be able to date an average guy. Dating a guy that is working at 7-Eleven is not going to give you that lifestyle. You want to have the luxury of being a housewife. You want to give birth to your baby and be able to stay inside of one of the nice, private rooms at the hospital. You're not going to be able to do that with a man that's making $40,000 a year. It's just not going to work. So, with that said, thinking about your future, decide what type of man you want to date, marry, etc. You don't have to be the most beautiful girl to get a guy that has his stuff together, but being honest, it definitely helps, and so does your age. We're not going to get into that stuff, and this is not really a topic for women. I'm talking about men, but I'm just saying, and men, smart men, know this. I don't make the rules, I play by them. Likewise, just as women like men that have status, have education, money, good career, men like women that are beautiful. And scammers know that. And they know that if they send you a picture, fake profile, give you like by a beautiful girl, you will easily be persuaded into doing dumb shit you would never do with another woman. Especially in Asia. And mind you, Asians are well aware of, the yellow fever, whatever you want to call it, the crap that these foreign men have to an extent. And so, even when you're not dealing with an actual woman, these men know that. These scammers, black scammers, Asian scammers, shoot, even white scammers, they're aware of that, and they're playing with your emotions and your feelings. keep in mind, it's not just men or even women online using fake profiles. There are people that are legitimately the person in the photo that are scamming you. There are people that you can meet in real life and they're just using you. There was a news article by Japan Today I talked about a long time ago where it was a woman that was actually engaged to a foreign man. I think it was an American or something like that. And for whatever reason, she broke things off with him. This man had bought her an engagement ring, bought her, I think he actually paid for the house, y'all. He bought her a condo. She refused to give him back the ring, refused to give back the condo, etc. And if I recall, she won. He took her to court and she won, if I recall. Wow. And so to my understanding, the gift was conditional, but I think their logic in it was that she did accept the engagement, she did want to get married, and whatever, and I don't know what the crap excuse was. I could be wrong, don't quote me on this. Please correct me if somebody knows the ending of this. But just the fact that you had to go to court with the person, period, speaks volumes. Why do you want to go through that stress, that time, that money spent on that is all wasted. I don't care if you did ultimately win it. These girls will use you. There's a lot of women here that literally, I said this inside another video before, don't ask me, I ain't Japanese, I don't know what the hell these girls are thinking. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of girls here that just want to have mixed babies with you. I ain't gonna say no names, but I see foreign men here all the time. There's some rather famous ones too, where you look at them and you're like, yeah, your wife definitely is with you because you have money and because of your status, etc. It happens with celebrities. It happens with people of all walks of life, faith, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't matter what your religion is, doesn't matter what country you come from. The reality is women naturally like men that are providers. There's that. And because of that, it also attracts women that like men that are providers, but they're like, yeah, I can get a provider that looks better than you or that makes more money than you, but I have no problem using you for this. For example, I also flip it and say, guys do some desperate stuff too. I remember, now it's not last year, 2 years ago, I was dating a guy that I referred to as HR Bay, and really, he ruined that himself. I would have legitimately seriously dated him, but I was like, I'm not about to compete with you, you and your friends. Like, I'm looking for somebody that seriously is planning to get married, and if I'm playing second fiddle to, you and your friends that you can't go one weekend without hanging out with, yeah, sorry. And if we're having problems at the beginning of the relationship, it's only going to get worse after we get married. So with that said, I was like, yep, I'm done, and you're an effing liar. So, what did he do? He got so desperate for me, he literally was trying to buy me a handbag, basically to buy me back. And I thought about it. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I did. I was like, wow, this dude is a true sucker. But then I thought to myself, I wouldn't want somebody to do that to me, and I don't want anybody to do that to my son in the future. So even though I definitely want to do it, maybe he deserved for me to take advantage of him, I know that me stooping down to his level would make me just as bad and much of a liar, bad person as he is. Because I knew that at that point, I didn't even want to be with him anymore, so I wasn't going to accept a gift from him. Long story short, there are a lot of girls that will not do that here, okay? Especially since, let's keep it real, most Japanese girls aren't religious. So they're not going to feel sorry, be like, oh God, whatever type thing. It's not going to work that way. They would gladly take that handbag. They would gladly take, that steak dinner, whatever from you. Do not be fooled by the cute little looks and laughs and giggles, etc. These girls will play you too. Now, be careful though. Don't become a cheapskate and decide you're not going to do things, not be gentleman, not pay for stuff, etc. Because a girl that does genuinely like you might decide, well, why am I going to play games with you when I could literally go out on a date with Toto, who will take me to, a nice restaurant, whatever. Do things within reason. You should not be taking out a girl to some, 5-star steakhouse, whatever, spending a ton of money on the first date. You have to have limits in place. You have to talk to them, get to know them, feel these girls out. And the reality, not like that, but, excuse me. The reality is, you will learn more about dating as you go, as long as you're willing to reflect on what went wrong. So many people refuse to reflect after relationships go wrong, and they spend too much time trying to move on to the next partner, and by them doing that, they don't give themselves the opportunity to learn where they went wrong, where they effed up. And that is a huge problem. And that is why these scams continue to go on. There's girls doing the same dumb stuff too. Unlike what, but the difference is, for women, it's much harder to find a guy that can scam you as a woman. Because for women, we're used to not paying for shit. We ain't gonna invest in no shit some guy try to ask me to do. I can count the amount of times that I've had a guy try to get me into something scam-like. Generally speaking, most guys that you're talking to as a woman, they're legitimate men. They might look like the guys out the picture, they might be using a fake profile, etc., but they're real men on the other side of that computer. 99% of the time. Do scams exist? Yes. But you're less likely to fall for them because, again, we have more options. It takes more to keep the conversation going. Whereas for men talking to these scamming girls, You're expected to be the one to initiate and keep the conversation going. So it's much easier for these scams to get pulled off. Whereas for me as a woman, I ain't sending you first message. I'm not going to, keep the conversation going. The moment you talk to me about money, crypto, whatever, I'm done. I ain't buying nothing for you. I don't care how hard. In fact, you telling about how you struggling as a man is a quick and easy way to get unmatched from me. I'm married now. But before I won't deal with no struggle of. Whereas for men, they're kind of expected to be the providers. They're expected to take care of you, help you through difficult times, etc. So I think for a lot of men, it's also really easy to fall for stuff, feeling like you're really helping this girl, or you want to show her that you're going to be a good husband or a good partner. So you want to buy her that ticket for Disneyland, etc. So all I'm saying is this is not a warning to not date Japanese women, but I'm telling you, be careful and think, why does this girl want to date me? Are they willing to video chat with me? Not just talk on the phone, video chat, okay? Because anybody can use a fake voice. They can have a friend of theirs call. Use your brain, people. Use your brain. If your friend from the U.S. that you just met 3 weeks ago said, hey, can you give me $10,000 right now? Or, hey, can you invest in my, this Bitcoin business or whatever? You should invest in this company. You'll make X amount of dollars. What you instantly think, oh, wow, sounds like a great idea. Some of y'all skeptical about signing up for a Netflix subscription, but you'll give hundreds and thousands of dollars to somebody that's your friend that you just met a few weeks ago? Come on, use your brain. That's the sad thing too. Like, a lot of these scammers, they know to go after ugly men and short men and people that look like they might be lonely, like older, short men, broke men, etc. Because it's so much easier to get you in your feelings than a guy that's handsome, a guy that's tall, a guy that has money, because they know that you're not used to having female attention. Just keeping it real. Then you combine that with the fact that you're probably here because you have a fetish for Asian girls. They're literally milking this and using you. Same thing goes, with the Japanese men here too. It's not just exclusive to foreign men. It's the same with them. Really easy to trick them into doing stuff because, again, there's lonely men, there's guys that can't date because they've decided for whatever reason they don't want to go to school, they don't want to get a good career, make up all the excuses under the sun, boo-hoo for you. I keep hearing like weird noise. But anyway, but the reality is, if you do not have an education, if you do not have money, most women will not want to date you here in Japan. And when you do have those things, you will attract both scammers that are not the girls in the photo, as well as scammers that are the real woman. You can date her, you can sleep with her, etc., but she's just there for the money. And there's a difference between liking a guy and, wanting to have a man that has status, and then solely liking him just because he has money. When the money's gone, you want nothing to do with him. That is a very different situation. For example, there's no problem with men liking women that are young and beautiful. Have no issue with that. But a man that solely likes you because you are pretty, solely likes you because you are beautiful, what's going to happen when you turn 30? What's going to happen when you turn 40? He's going to move on to a younger, better looking girl than you. Forget about turning 40. He will see a girl that looks better than you. I promise you, ask any man. There is no woman that you can find a man and say, this is a girl you can never cheat on because she's the most beautiful woman in the world. Nope. A man will find 20 things wrong with her that's better than another woman. Because there's no such thing as the most beautiful person in the world. There just isn't. Every attractive person has flaws. There's always something about them that a man would be like, yeah, if I could change it, I would change this. And same thing goes for women. You can find a girl, the most rich guy in the world, but there's going to be something wrong. If they could choose, they'd be like, well, I wish he was a couple inches taller, or I wish, he wasn't so hairy. There's always going to be something that she would want to change or that he would want to change about their partner. It's human nature. There has to be more to it than just a man's money. Likewise, as a man, there has to be more to it than her being young and or her being pretty. But the reality is, men choose women based on that. Which is the reason why, look at these girls that these guys keep falling for. You never hear about some 60-year-old woman that was able to swindle money out of these guys. It's always the young 20-something, sometimes even 18, 19-year-old Asian girl. So-called Asian girl, really. Some random Asian guy online or some random black guy online pretending to be a Korean, Chinese, whatever type girl. Which, FYI, in case you're wondering, they normally pretend to be Korean or Chinese because it's much easier to scam you this way, because you won't be able to detect the fact that they're not speaking Japanese correctly and thus realize, I'm not talking to a Japanese person, this person must not be Japanese, they must be a foreigner. It's much easier for a Chinese girl to use English as the common language with the two of you, instead of a Japanese girl, badly speaking in Japanese to prove that they're Japanese. These scams are normally much easier to predict, but sometimes there's Japanese people that are speaking to you using English. So it can work that way too. I've just noticed that for some reason it seems like normally the person chooses a picture of a Korean or Chinese girl, and sometimes it is a picture of a Japanese girl, but they pretend like this is a Korean girl, give a fake name, whatever. And again, these guys just fall for it, head over heels, whatever, because they're imagining themselves being with this person, feel like they're helping them, or they meet the person in real life, and it's like, think about why this person accepted that date with you. What are they asking you for on the date? What are they expecting of you? How are they dressed? Because you should also ask yourself, the woman that you're on a date with, don't ask her, but think to yourself. I'm giving y'all some free game. Sorry, ladies. Ask yourself, how is this woman able to afford the things that she's wearing? Because you probably know her job at this point if she has one. She should have one. But you should be asking yourself, how is she able to afford that? Like, if you're on a date with a girl and you're paying for everything and she has on like a Louis Vuitton bag and I don't know, a Gucci watch and shit, like, just ask yourself, alright, she has no husband, she's working at McDonald's, who do you think is buying this stuff for her? Now, we can argue she saved her money to buy these things, but I'm just gonna keep it real with you. Gotta be a little bit careful. Not that she shouldn't dress nice and shouldn't have nice things, and yes, mommy and daddy can gift her things, but just think to yourself. Normally, true gold diggers, there's signs, okay? There's flags. Does she seem more obsessed and concerned with how she looks? Does she seem to be embarrassed to be seen with you out in public? There's normally telltale signs that she's not dating you seriously. Texting you back slowly, not interested, doesn't want to talk to you. And I promise you, the little stupid stereotype that Japanese people are so overworked and working these long hours, that is so not true. I've talked about this several times on my channel. And if you live here using common sense, how many people do you see taking the train home like after 8 o'clock? It's literally way less than what I would consider as a rush hour. The vast majority of Japanese people are going home sometime between 5 to no later than 7 o'clock. They work normal hours just like how we do in the US. It is rare for a person to be working those crazy, insane, slave shift type of hours. I promise you, that is not the norm here. But it's become sensationalized, and Japan loves it because anything that makes them look hard-working and strong and clean and just a perfect little people, they love that shit. So we're not going to get into that for this video, but just letting you know, the reason I'm saying this is don't fall for those little stupid tricks like, oh, I was so busy with work, I'm so tired, I can't talk to you. Let's talk next week where you're going to take me out to the Gucci steakhouse. That's what these girls are doing to you all. And it's like, how do you not see that she's scamming you? She has no time to talk to you except for when it's arranging the next date. And girls fall for this too, dealing with Japanese men. I cannot tell you how many times I've made whole videos telling people about scams. Ladies, please look at my comment sections, you'll laugh. I literally have dumb bitches in my comment section, sorry, keeping it real, where it's like, I just gave you a whole 1 hour video telling you what to look for, and somehow you thought this video had nothing to do with you, and you're like, oh yeah, that's so right, yeah, go get him, Ren. Yeah, my man is always so busy, he works such long hours, so yeah, but he always texts me good night. Okay, man. You're being played right now, too. So, again, not even going to get into that, but that's another topic. All I want to say is this. Please be careful, men. Not all of these sweet, innocent girls are trying to date you seriously. A lot of them just want gifts from you because they realize, why settle for one man? And I'm not going to lie, I even thought about it before I got married. Because I got so into, I wasn't never using men, but I got to the point where, I wasn't expecting to ever get married. I was literally just having fun, going out on dates, and realizing, wow, this is an F-boy. Whoop, joke's on you, because you're not getting pussy from me, but I got my free steak. So, anyway, you think to yourself, as a woman, why should I stop dating guys? Why? Just like how men feel. Why buy the cow when the milk is free? Well, what's the purpose in getting married when if I don't get married, I can literally have 20 different dudes, literally, every single week, buying me gifts, buying me, meals and experiences, etc. One person can't afford to do all of that for you. But if you're dating 10 different guys a week, very easy. I have so many videos from dates that I've been on. Here we are 2+ years later. I have not even shared pictures from some of these places. I've recorded whole videos that never got edited because I ended up getting married. It was too much. So, anyway, all of this to say, for a lot of these girls, they realize I can get, instead of one handbag this month, I can convince at least 5 of these suckers to give me one. There was a case even in the US that I talked about before, and I imagine somebody's done it here in Japan too. She literally had, I think it was 10 different boyfriends buy her the latest iPhone. She took the money from those 10 phones, resold them online, I think, and then she took the money from that to put a down payment on a new house. That's crazy. There have been cases here in Japan with both men and women lying about their birthdays, dating multiple people at the same time, using the money from those birthday gifts, etc., to fund other endeavors, to sell the gifts, etc. Some of them have gotten caught. I imagine that there's plenty of them that we've never heard of before because they're too ashamed to go to the media about it, or they don't even realize that they're dating somebody that's an F girl or F boy, vice versa. You have to use your own brain. Don't buy elaborate gifts at the beginning of a relationship. Date somebody, get to know them more than just having sex with them. Because again, there are girls that will sleep with you. Again, you're basically a sugar daddy in these girls' eyes. And for a lot of these girls, they feel like sex with you doesn't count because you're not a Japanese man. As crazy as that sounds. And a lot of these girls will lie to you. They will never tell the truth about how many bodies they've had. I've literally been friends with both Japanese and Chinese girls here that have told me that they were virgins. And then after talking to them longer, well, yeah, I sucked this guy's dick, but like we didn't have actual sex. Now, if you tell a man that you're a virgin, now I'm speaking to men here, don't you assume that this means this girl has never had any sort of sexual activity with anyone? I'm just saying. And bitches be talking about, I've never had sex before, but somehow she magically knows how to ride dick like a professional. Okay. But that's another story. I just feel so sorry for these men when I see them falling for this type of crap. So, hey, if you wanted people to use you, you don't mind a girl not really loving you, you don't mind her, breaking your heart in 3 months after she gets what she wants, ghosting you, leaving you on red, etc. By all means, have at it. All I'm saying is, if you're looking for a serious relationship, you need to be careful, because these girls that you think that you're buying your way into getting, your spouse visa, etc., they will make babies with you, take those babies away from you, and you're going to be another one of the thousands, if not hundreds, or however many guys there are here in Japan crying online about how they haven't seen their child in 10 plus years, etc., because their Japanese ex-wife ran off with them. Be very careful. Yes, it happens to women too. We're talking about men right now because this question was asked by a foreign man. And if you want to know the details of it, briefly, in a nutshell, he bought tickets for a specific theme park that he was going to go to with a Japanese girl. Long story short, she made up an excuse claiming that she was sick the day of, conveniently, and then ghosted him. Blocked him online, has never gotten back to him, unmatched him from Tinder, etc. That really has to suck. And it reminded me of another story that I read of, different theme park, different scenario. I don't think this girl faked being sick. But long story short, she ghosted the guy after he bought her a ticket. And all I could do is think to myself, why would you buy a ticket for the person and you didn't even meet them yet? And then for, I think the other guy that wasn't the one that asked me the question, I think he did meet with her in person. So that's even worse. Like, wow, you met her and she still ghosted you. So just be careful. And again, I think if you're that early on in a relationship, going to Disney or theme park to me for a first, second, or third date is too much. I feel like that's a date that you go on after you've been dating for some months. I would say you need to be together for, I would say, longer than how long I was with my, then fiance. But mind you, he was my fiance at that point. We went on a date to a theme park, I think 2 months into our relationship, almost at 3 months. I would not suggest doing that before 3 months, being honest with you. Unless you're planning to get married, like how I was. But if you're just in the dating phase, you need to be you need to know that person. And in this case, my husband, even then, my then boyfriend / fiance, he did not buy me a ticket and give it to me and just say, oh, okay, do what you want with it. No, he bought the ticket and we went there together at the same time. So I think he did give it to me, put it in my bag after we got close to the place or whatever. But you get what I'm trying to say. So yeah, just be really careful with yourself, and remember, because you are a foreigner and people assume, even if you don't have a fetish, they want to take advantage of you because they realize it's much easier to deal with you than it is with Japanese men. Because the other reality that nobody wants to talk about, Japanese women, Asian women period, Chinese, Korean, South Asian, from their perspective, keyword, their perspective, foreign men have a much lower standard for beauty than they do in Asia. For example, I can even use the Philippines. Girls that have, dark skin, light skin in the black community, or darker than that is considered as dark skin. So, girls that look like that, that's not seen as beautiful or attractive. This does not mean that guys don't like it, because I feel like black people twist this too much from listening to white people, I imagine. And they don't understand. It's not solely based off of your skin complexion. It's just that your skin complexion is not seen as desirable, so to speak. However, you can't have dark skin and still be seen as beautiful. That is not the conversation here. And I feel like that's one of the mixed up things people have here in Japan too. And I'll make another video about that because I've had people comment on that as well. And it's like, That is not true, and I'm literally living proof of that. But that's another story. So anyway, yes, like, these girls would have a much harder time dating an actual Asian man from their, respective countries. Not just because of their complexion, but they're not facially attractive. They have larger features. Their face is not, it's not just about being symmetrical or whatever, but I can't explain. Like, you don't just look at somebody's face and like, yeah, you're ugly, yeah, you're okay, you're cute, whatever. A lot of these girls, straight up ugly, wouldn't be able to get a guy in their home country, but try to date a white guy or a black guy, and they're seen as absolutely beautiful. Same thing goes with Japanese girls. Gonna keep it real with you, I had a Japanese friend back in Osaka, and he was blunt. He even said himself, it's a pattern. Ugly foreign guy, ugly Japanese girl. Now, mind you, he was married to a foreign woman. But we're not going to talk about that. A white woman, I should add. She was from Europe. But long story short, I gotta kind of agree. 99% of the time when I see foreign couples here, generally speaking, in particular foreign men, because that's what you see most of. It's not every day that you see a foreign woman with a Japanese husband. But long story short, it is. You would normally see an average to ugly looking, white or black guy, and it'll be a Japanese girl that is seen as, fat, that's seen as ugly facially, doesn't have a good body, whatever the case happens to be. And again, the standards are different. From the black or white guy's, perspective, she's an Asian girl, she's instantly hot. They see things very differently. What you think is the most beautiful, cutest Asian girl in the world, an actual Asian man thinks ugly to average. Just keeping it real with you. Same thing goes with women. It goes the same way in reverse. Now, I can't speak on the relationship part of it because foreign marriages, specifically between an American and European that's not Asian, not Asian as a race, and then you can be Asian American. We're not talking about you all. When I say this, I'm talking about black, white, Hispanic, whatever. People from the U.S. and Europe. And with that said, it's very rare to see a relationship between a woman of those races with a Japanese man, speaking on Japan in particular. But I'll be honest, I've seen that too. I've seen like butt ugly, foreign women with typically same situation. Ugly ass, Asian man. And again, this is not to bash your partners. I'm not the most attractive person in the world. That is not my topic. My husband is not. I'm not saying that we're better than everybody else. Not the purpose of what I'm saying. I'm just saying that the standards are different. And for a lot of these people, they just want to have an Asian spouse. They don't care what they look like. They don't care about the money. They just want that race. They have a fetish for that person. That is another topic, but I'm just speaking real with you. Because of that, a lot of these girls realize, okay, I could never trick Tato into buying me a handbag because I'm not cute enough. I wouldn't be able to date a guy that makes money like that. But if I go after a white guy, I can easily do that because they think that I'm just so exotic and whatever. That's just facts. Keeping it real with you. Likewise, you will see ugly ass men that are from Africa, various countries, generally Nigeria, Ghana, wherever the fuck. And these men will oftentimes be married to a Japanese woman. Two different reasons. One, these men normally have money. They have a business of some sort. Two, again, for these Japanese women, they're after these guys because they have money. It's easy to marry them. And on top of that, for the men, from their perspective, not only do they get, their fetish, black men have a thing for non-black women, whatever. And then on top of that, visa mama. That's what it all comes down to. So some people see it as work that they don't care, especially black men. You probably want to take care of your kids anyway. But we ain't finna talk about that part of it. Sorry, keeping it real. Sorry, gotta sneak that in there. I'm just being honest with you, okay? Look, we ain't finna go there. But long story short, in those situations, you're both using each other. That's between you and Jesus. We ain't finna touch on that. I'm talking about the guys that want to date seriously, want to marry seriously. I'm just trying to protect you. Be careful. Don't be fooled. A girl being polite, nice, and looking cute, etc. does not mean she's not a scammer. A girl that's being your friend for 3 months, 6 months, even 1 year. Remember, you're just talking online. You haven't even met her in person. That's easy to keep up. And for a lot of you guys, you're so used to not having any female attention. A scamming girl, can give you the bare minimum attention, and you feel like you've made a best friend. It's like, dude, all she does is text you good morning, good night, and talk to you about the latest video game for 5 minutes a day. That's not much effort. Minimal effort. But again, for these guys, they're so, deprived of female, practically incels, so deprived of female attention that they're getting off on this, and they're easy to scam because of that. Again, watch Social Catfish here on YouTube. You'll see plenty of cases like this. So, not dealing with Japan per se, but dealing with guys, being tricked into relationships. Like, look at that girl and look at yourself. Why would she want you? Why? What about you will be desirable? Nothing. And just being honest with you. And same thing goes for women too. There are so many women here in Japan that don't realize, foreign women, keeping it real with you, they think they're cute because they do nothing but hang around their friends who lie to them. Oh girl, you're the baddest bitch in the world. If you were in the US, all the men want to eat your cookies. Lying to themselves. And it's like, the problem isn't that you're a foreign woman. It's not even that you're black, because see, people love to say that, and it's like, I am literally living proof that there is no issue with dating here. It's not your race. Dating seriously, I should add. Okay, I've been engaged before. I've had the opportunity to get married several times. I have names and locations I can drop, alright? I'm a married woman now, so I gotta prove shit to y'all, but I'm just saying. There are women here that have convinced themselves that because they've had a certain amount of guys swipe right on them on Tinder, and that they've slept with X amount of men, guys like them. And I've said this before, and again, the men here will let you know. Most men will sleep with anything. Even the most attractive of men. If you get together with a group of guys, make some guy friends and ask them about their experiences with having sex. And if they're being honest with you, maybe not all your friends, but some of them, they will tell you they definitely have people that, I wouldn't have hit that if I was in my right mind, if I wasn't so desperate to get my dick sucked. Just keeping it real with you. They wouldn't have done that. You're probably a part of that category. Also, another thing that people don't understand is, and this is speaking to ladies for a second, if you're dating a guy that has in their profile that they like a specific type of woman, whether it be, I like big girls, or I like, black women, or I like white girls, ask yourself, why do they like this specific type of woman? And I promise you it's not as innocent as you're thinking, because you're probably thinking, oh wow, he likes fat bitches like me. When no, what he's saying is, I like girls that have large breasts, I like girls that have fat asses, I like girls that are easy to use. But that's for another video. We're not going to talk about that right now. Same thing goes for, by race. Why does he like your specific race? It's because he's convinced himself, based off of his experience, that foreign women are easy. It's much easier to get sex out of you than a Japanese girl. And visually, you look very different. It's exotic. Same thing goes for, in the reverse. So for us, you might think, wow, Asians are so beautiful. They're so perfect. Well, Asians think the same thing about you guys because you look so different. You're so perfect from their perspective. Specifically talking about, especially dealing with white people. Their ideal beauty standards to have light-colored eyes, light-colored hair, white skin, etc. So when they see that, not on everybody might act, just because you have white skin, blue eyes, blonde hair, whatever, it does not make you beautiful in Japan, and a lot of black people got that mixed up. They think that, and that's not true, but that's another story. It aids you if you're already physically beautiful without those things. Having them makes you more beautiful. Just having blonde hair and blue eyes does not make you hot. I can tell you plenty of, white women here that I know of that are not seen as attractive despite having those things. They still have standards in place. But when you have that in addition to actually being beautiful, that adds to it. Same thing goes in the black community. Think about it. There are light-skinned girls that are ugly as fuck. Y'all have no problem talking about tiny. We ain't finna get on that. Same thing goes with girls that have long hair. There's black men love girls with long hair. Do they not? That's why a lot of us black women care about having long hair. But can't we all name plenty of black women that have long hair that black men still deem as ugly as fuck? Okay, that's the point. Same thing goes with hair texture. Having looser curls can make you more attractive. But you can have good hair and still be ugly as fuck in the black community. Alright, Japan is the exact same way. I don't know why it's so hard for black people to get this. I feel like people just feel like it's easier to blame their race instead of acknowledging the fact that, no, you're just ugly and people don't like you. But that's another story. So, anyway, I'm saying all of this to say, our standards are, again, very different, okay? We find this to be exotic. For them, they find it to be, it's the best of both worlds. You get to experiment. You might even find the person to be more attractive, but you probably don't want to marry them. And that's what I'm saying the problem is. A lot of women think that because a guy will have sex with them, that he'll be willing to marry them. And even the guys that lie and say, oh yeah, I want to be your husband, I want you to be my wife. And it's like, ask your guy friends. These are all just lies. Men are just saying this to you so they can sleep with you, so you lower your standards and drop your effing panties. A lot of girls don't know this yet. They fall for it year after year after year, and their friends aren't honest with them. Their friends lie to them. Oh yeah, girl, you're bad as fuck. You don't know what you're missing out on. You're so cute. Oh my god, you're so pretty. Girls want to be honest with themselves about it. I saw a video from Abba and Preach to make me laugh. I think I left a comment on the video where he was like imitating girls lying to themselves, because like they were watching like one of those like Jubilee or whatever videos where they had the girls have to line themselves up based off of their attractiveness, and unlike the men, the girls were literally lying to themselves. Oh no, I think you're prettier than me. So all the girls wanted to be last in line, but the men did not do all that crap. They knew who was the most handsome, who was the ugliest, and they put themselves in order. Now whether you totally agree with it or not, that was up for debate. But it was like the women, it was like, come on girl, you know damn well you look 100 times better than that other girl. You know you're not at the back of that line. But that's the way that they did it, because again, that's the way the girls like to do it. And I get it. I'm not encouraging you to be mean and bully people. If you're ugly, you don't need people to tell that you are. But at the same time, it's not helping your ugly friends for you to get cheered on thinking that you look better than you really do. Because if everybody's telling you that you're cute and that you're pretty, you're not ugly, you're not fat, you're not whatever, what do you start to think? You think that you do look good. And so Dave Chappelle said it best. Ugly people have it hard in life. This is kind of off subject. But he was saying that if you're ugly, you gotta find that shit out on your own. Because nobody's gonna tell you that you're ugly. But if you're beautiful, people tell you that all your life. And so you should kind of get the hint. Do people always tell you how pretty you are? Or is it just your family and friends? Or is it just men that trying to hit it? So just keeping it real. And so I feel like men think about this too. Do women seem to suddenly like you when they find out how much money you make? Or do women seem to genuinely find that you're a gentleman, you're just a good man in general, and women like you? So I'm not encouraging you to lie about your money, pretend like you don't have money when you do have it, but do be careful. All you have to do is put inside your profile how much money you have. Look at how the girls message you. In fact, a huge red flag is, look out for the girls that send the first message. If girls suddenly have interest in sending you the message first after you mention how much money you make, after you mention what your career is, she's more than likely going to be a gold digger. Just keeping it real with you. Because you know what I did? Even after I got matched back with guys that had money, I would never send the first message. I'll like you back and be like, oh, he got a good job. But remember, keep it real. I like my husband back. I didn't even know I'm not even gonna lie to you. I said this before. I didn't even look at what his career was. I just saw his height and I was like, oh my God, he's 6 feet tall. And I liked him. And I was like, oh, you have a good job too. And then I was shocked they could speak English, because he didn't even put in his profile that he spoke English. That shocked me. So anyway, just being honest with you. But I'm gonna be real. Even for the men that I dated before my husband, because he's not the first doctor that I ever dated, but I also add, I've dated a doctor, I've dated a lawyer, I've dated a CPA, I've done it all at this point. And with that said, I never messaged them first. You'll also stand out by doing that too. Because guys, and the men watching this can be honest if you can. Be real. Men prefer to chase. Now, they don't want to have to chase a girl that seems not interested at all. But when you are the one pursuing the guy, a real man, I should also add, it kind of takes away from that. And I found the same thing goes with Japanese men. When I tried using Bumble, I had nothing but bad experiences there. For starts, when you're the one that has to send the message first, guys feel like you should be the one to carry on the conversation because you started it. And it's stupid because, okay, like, we both have to like each other. It's not saying that we have to carry the conversation. It's just that we have to be the one to send the message first to indicate that we truly do want to communicate with you. And then it's like, you'll even get guys that you know would have sent you a message back if they would have wanted to send it first. It's like, nigga, I said hi to your ugly ass. You better say hi back to me. So, and then it's funny because like guys are complaining about girls not sending a message that has substance and keeping the conversation going. But when you use Bumble, you see that men do the exact same thing when given the opportunity. Like, look, I ain't dating no beta bitch, okay? I don't do beta bitches. And that's exactly why I got off of Bumble. And thanks to doing that, I found my man. Let me blow my nose, y'all. Alright, but anyway, yeah, I got way off subject with the topic of this video. All I want to say is this. Think about who's talking to you and why. Why would they be interested in you? And this, again, do not get it twisted. This is not to say that you're a person that's to pretend like they don't notice that you're attractive. They don't notice that you're tall. They don't notice that you have money. Because, see, these are the ultimate scammers out there. When girls try to pretend like they have no interest. Oh, you're a doctor? I didn't notice. And so I kind of put it off my husband, but I was really being honest. But the reality is, I would have found out eventually. He just told me right away. Okay, let me correct that and explain that a little bit better. I didn't see what his career was before I swiped right. I did notice his height, but immediately after, like, exchanging a couple of messages, I did look at his profile and see what his career was. And I'm pretty sure I might have done that before he directly told me, or he asked me what my job was. Something like that happened. So I knew this before we went on a date. And I say this to bring it back to what I said. You're going to know what his job is, because most women in Japan, that is something really major that you care about. So anybody that plays dumb and acts like they didn't notice, don't know, you might not have noticed initially when you swiped, but you are not going to exchange messages and or meet for a date without knowing that information. So that's all. But long story short, generally speaking, a girl sees your profile, okay? A girl can tell by looking at you. She saw the picture of your Lamborghini, you showing off your Rolex, etc. It rang dollar signs, yen signs, excuse me, whatever, in her mind. And that's why she decided to pursue a relationship with you. Now it's up to you. Maybe you don't care, you want to be used 100%. But the reality is there's a fine line, like I said before, and it's hard to explain. I have to make another video on that. There's a fine line between somebody liking these things about you and them only being with you for these things. And the latter part is kind of hard to tell, especially when you're new to dating, and you're not used to having money, whatever the case happens to be. This is not to say don't spend money on girls, because again, I'm going back to even using myself. Look, I ain't the best looking person out there. But when I dated, if I went on a date with a guy that claimed to have money, and then you're not willing to spend money on me, like you're being really cheap, and you want to split bills, whatever, you end up missing out on women that you really like. Because they're not going to play those games with you. They'll just be like, okay, well, move on to somebody else that will spend money. Don't be no sucker, though. Don't feel like you're missing out on a girl because she asked you to buy her a Gucci handbag and you said, no, you're not going to do that. You're not missing out on nothing. That was definitely a gold digger. But a girl asking to be taken out for a dinner date and you're not willing to do that, which, to be honest, shouldn't have to ask. If you really like a woman, show her that you do by taking her out for a nice dinner date, not a lunch date, not breakfast, not drinks. Can you date a girl seriously? Yes, you can. But if you want to date some of the best looking women out here, you are going to have to spend a little bit of coin. Women that are watching this, do not become fucking delusional. Asking a guy to take you out for a $300 meal for a very first date is very kind if you choose to do that, but it should not be expected. A guy's on an F-boy because he just want to drop $300 on a first date. However, I can be honest with you. I would not accept a first date that costs less than $40, how I see it. Shouldn't be less than $40. And when I say 40, I mean 40 per a person. My first date with my husband cost well over $150. I think it was. Was it $150? Yeah, it was $150 if I recall. Not the most expensive first date I've been on. Definitely not the cheapest though. Went out for yakiniku. And it wasn't even all you can eat. He had to pay per item that was ordered. Don't be too cheap on your first date. But use your brain. If you're worried about being used by a gold digger, again, use your brain and screen people. A lot of guys do their screening with their dicks. And this is the reason why you end up getting played. You get too excited because, oh, pretty girl. And you're not thinking about what she's saying, what her motives are, how often she's talking to you, etc. Women do the exact same thing. You see the anime Final Fantasy looking guy, like, oh my god, he's so handsome, I love him so much, oh my god, he wants to date me. And you're so busy trying to look like a slut, dress yourself up, wear the right makeup, wear sexy clothes, etc. that you're not thinking, why would this super hot guy want to date my dumpy ass? And a lot of you think you look better than you really do, so maybe you don't think that you're dumpy. You think this guy is within your league and up your alley and that you're just beautiful and he has a thing for fat bitches, whereas you think you are thick even though you're 230 plus pounds, but okay. So anyway, these girls fall for this because, again, their ego has been inflated. They think they look better than they really do. They're too focused on the fact they're going to go on a date with this tall guy, and maybe you even think you want to sleep with him. But I promise you, if you knew that this guy was only going to hit it and quit it, you would not be giving your body to him, and you definitely would not be splitting that damn check with him. And just as women fall for this stuff too, I fell for it. Men do it as well. Some of you just never learn. There's people older than me still falling for this crap, so that's it. Guys, just be really careful. All Japanese girls are not really nice and sweet. They're not all evil scammers, but also don't be fooled. Everyone scamming you is not from Nigeria, not from China. There's a lot of fat-ass Japanese men that are scamming white guys and black guys over the shit. There's Japanese girls that are behind these fake female profiles. There's real-life Asian women, Japanese, Korean, Chinese women, Filipinas that live here in Japan, Vietnamese girls living here in Japan that you can meet, date, fuck in person, and they will still scam your ass. Happens every single day. They are well aware of it. And they know how to play you guys. Because again, your standards are dropped and lowered because your image of what Japanese women are like, or Korean girls are like, you can envision them scamming you. It has to be a real friend. It has to be real love, right? She was talking to me for 6 months. She went out to dinner with me 2 weeks ago. She wouldn't use me for a Disney ticket. Yes, the fuck she would. Because think about it. If she got one sucker like you to do it, how many other suckers do you think she messed around with? Same thing goes for sex. Ask yourself, if this girl's willing to sleep with you on a first date because you had a Lamborghini in your profile picture and you're claiming to be a neurosurgeon, how many other guys has she fallen for this with? And that's why STDs are, increasing here in Japan. Sure, I'm sure it's going on around the world. Anybody can lie and claim to be a virgin. There's bitches in my comment section probably lying and pretending they never had sex before. I said this at the beginning of this video, but I would never forget that. She was really from Singapore. She was ethnically, whatever you want to call it, Chinese. Hearing her talk to me, my white American friend, about how she's a virgin, and then later on telling us how she did. I'm sorry, if you do anything that risks you getting an STD, and you're not a nurse, we ain't talking about HIV blood getting, no. We're talking about activities that risk that. If genitalia is going in your mouth, I'm sorry, that is sex, okay? There's people that maybe haven't even done that before, but it's like, okay, you're trying to have this good girl image of being a virgin, but if you've done all of this other stuff that's borderline sex, sure, technically you're a virgin, fine, because according to what you claim, he never put his actual stuff inside of you. But these girls would be like, oh, I'm a virgin, and then as a female, you become friends with them, and it's like, okay, so a guy fingered you, you sucked his stuff, he licked your stuff, and you made out with him inside of his bed, but you're, okay, whatever. Anyway, men, you decide that. But I feel like nowadays, girls don't even realize the purpose in being a virgin to begin with. Because, if you're not religious, which I hope you are a Christian, but for those of you who are not, I don't even see what's the purpose in pretending like you are then. Because I'm sorry, most men don't get excited over the fact, oh, you're a virgin. Not to be jealous or hater, like I said. I envy you. I wish that I did what these girls did. I commend you, applaud you. That's great. But like I said before, the reason why this worked is because people got married sooner back in biblical days. People did not date for years. People dated for weeks to months to no more than a year before getting married. That's why it was easy to abstain from having sex. When you're trying not to have sex for 6+ years, first of all, you're dating the wrong type of person if you're a virgin. Not to mention, virginity is not just for women. A lot of men have that twisted. The Bible instructs both men and women to abstain from having sex. And if neither of you are doing it, it's whatever. But I find it weird when I see girls so adamant on the idea of not having sex and so worried about losing it when they're with a guy who's probably fucking the whole world on the other end. He's not being faithful to you, doing his own thing, and it's like, why are you saving yourself for marriage with a guy that's not saving himself for you? You're not even equal in that sense. That's for another video. So, not to discourage you from being a virgin, just saying, if you want to be hold on to your virginity and give it to your husband, shouldn't you choose a man that's not running out wild and doing his thing? But whatever. Long story short, not gonna talk about that. Just please be careful, you all. Japanese people are still human. They still lie. They still cheat. They still scam. They still have money. And this goes for both men and women. Use your brain. I'm sorry to break it to you, but the reason why beauty is so special is because everyone is not it. If everyone was beautiful, the word beauty wouldn't exist. There's a difference between how ugly women are treated and beautiful women are treated. There's a difference between how rich men are treated and broke men. If every man had money and had education, girls wouldn't care about it. If every man was tall, girls wouldn't care about it. It's because of that rarity in it. So ask yourself, what does a woman see in you that doesn't even know you yet? Something kind of got off subject what I was saying before, but again, if you look at those profiles, just look at them. Ask yourself, for all of these women to claim that they're not gold diggers, love you for, they're so perfect, so whatever, a Japanese girl would never, just ask yourself, why is it that when you use the pairs date, even using Tinder, why do you see that the ugliest, shortest, oldest men have hundreds of likes? But you can find a guy that looks better than 65-year-old Tato that makes over 30 million yen a year. And for some reason, he only has 60 likes, which is still a lot for a guy. But you think 65-year-old Tato looks better? No. It's because he went to Harvard and he's making $300,000+ per year. That's the reason why. So ask yourself, when girls see your profile, are they seeing you or are they seeing dollar signs? And there's nothing wrong with the woman liking the fact they're financially together. We don't have to lie about that. But like I said, there's a fine line. Is she dating you for the money? Or is she dating to seriously marry you be there for the good and the bad. You gotta ask yourself that, because there's tons of girls that will play the role. Oh, you're a neurosurgeon, I didn't see that. Oh, I'll pay half, and put out their wallet they're gonna pay. You know that bitch was not gonna pay for that shit. Send the message first. Yeah, that girl would not have done that if she didn't have money. Just think about it. So, hey, again, it's your life. Do what you want to do. But if you are my brother, you are my son, you are my friend, this is how I would advise you. And again, look at the horror stories. You can do some research online, do your own Google searches, etc. Talk to some of your male friends here. Ask some guys that actually live in Japan. Come here on vacation. Go to a party. Ask men about their dating experiences. Specifically, men that have money. And they will tell you. When women here find out that you have a good job, a good education, a good career, suddenly you're the most handsome man in the world. That's just the way that it goes. Gold diggers exist everywhere. Be careful. Scams exist everywhere. Be careful. And I promise you, just as these scams go on in other places in Asia, they also take place here in Japan. It's not above or beyond Japanese people. A lot of people have this envision or idea that Japanese people don't steal, they don't lie, they don't do all these different things. It's like, yes, the fuck they do. They really do. And again, they know that it's easier to pull off these scams on men who are unattractive than it is on guys that look good. Because guys that look good, they're used to having pussy thrown at them. A lot of them are. So they don't care. They're not going to invest money in what? A girl's scam. But for the guys that aren't used to that, they're like, oh, wow. Sachiko wants to go on a date with me? And so they get all dressed up, plan the nicest date at the nicest restaurant in town. They go all out. And it's really a shame because some really nice guys getting taken advantage of. But again, their obsession with trying to have a, Asian wife or trying to have sex with an Asian girl, it gets them caught up. And for some of these guys, it's worth it. But I'm not talking about those guys that want to get scammed, don't care. See, there's a good trade-off because well, it's cheaper than paying for a prostitute. We're not getting into that. I'm talking about guys that are looking for real love, real relationship. Please don't take things too fast. And please be a man and stay in control. Your date should not have a ticket to wherever the hell your date is planned for days to weeks from then. You give her the ticket when you meet in person. I'd even argue you hand the ticket to the staff at the gate. Why does she need her own ticket for? And you don't even know her that well. I don't care if you've been dating this girl for 3 years. Unless you're married to her, which even then you should be very skeptical, don't invest in anything with anyone, any advice from anyone, unless you are married to the person, you've met them in person, you've dated them for a substantial amount of time. You should not be investing in anything from a friend of yours, a date of yours, somebody that's a pen pal that you've never met. That is beyond stupid. Please use your brain. Stop thinking with your dick. Stop being so desperate and lonely for a Japanese friend that you find yourself doing dumb stuff. Like, I'm going to take it a notch further. There are so many guys here sending gifts to Japanese girls they're dating. And it's like, you do realize that a lot of these girls realize Japanese men don't do this. They don't do that type of stuff. Yes, you can find that one-off guy, some girl in the comments. Well, actually, my Japanese husband used to send me gifts twice a month. Girl, I promise you that is a rare thing. 2 claps for you, ho. But I can also guarantee you that Japanese man that was sending you gifts was not sending you the type of gifts that these white and black guys sending the Asian girls here. Girls here are I've literally been friends with people that are getting gifts from Canadians, Americans, Europeans, where they're sending them like whole boxes of snacks. I had a friend who, I don't know if it was real or not, but like he sent her a necklace with matching earrings before. And it's like, y'all haven't even met in person. Like, why is he doing all of this shit? But, whatever. Long story short, now my friend wasn't scamming this guy, but just being honest with you, a lot of these guys are getting scammed because what are these girls going to think? Wow, I haven't even met this sucker in person. What if I got another online boyfriend? They're dating you while they're also fucking turtle here and dating him. Y'all don't even know what these girls are doing. And again, some of these white and black guys, they're so desperate to be in a relationship with a Japanese girl, they don't care if you're cheating on them as long as they're not here in Japan and they don't see it, they don't mind. And that's what I said, long distance relationships are a joke. They do not work. Long distance works when you are married and when you're temporarily separated. That's it. You should not be separated for years. Look, why do y'all think the military has such a high divorce rate? So much cheating going on there. Because long distance don't work. That's why. Your partner being halfway or all the way across the world is not going to work out for you. You might think, oh, that's not true. That's a lie. We got married. I'm not talking about getting married being the end goal. I'm talking about cheating. I promise you, Your partner is either talking to someone else, talking to them, or fucking them. You might not even be the one they got into a relationship with first. There's plenty of girls here that are using foreign men online, whether it be English teachers, pen pals, to replace the emotional connection that they're missing with their husband. That's just facts. But we ain't gonna get into that for a whole other video. All I gotta say is this: be careful and ask yourself. I say this to girls all the time about would a Japanese girl do this. But now the question is to you: would a Japanese man do what you're doing for that Japanese girl? Ask yourself that. This is not a matter of trying to lower a woman's worth or treat her badly. I'm just trying to have you think with your own brain before you waste your time, waste your money, invest stuff that you shouldn't be investing in, give people stuff you shouldn't be giving them. Would a Japanese man do that with a girl that he just met a couple of weeks ago, just met for a few months, is friends with? Because that's pretty damn weird. I can't even picture one of my Japanese friends being like, oh, hey, Ren, why don't you invest $20,000 in Bitcoin? How would that conversation even come to be? And being honest, I would always be skeptical of a girl that's maintaining conversation with you as a friend for months, where she's initiating the conversation, she's really trying to get to know you. Doesn't that seem a little bit, fishy, suspicious? I mean, you're an average to not so great looking guy. And for some reason, this girl just can't get enough of you. She wants to talk to you. And it's not even a matter of trying to lower your self-esteem. Just be real with yourself. I had to do it with myself. I know I'm not the best looking person in the world, and for that reason I had to think to myself, why would this guy with this job, even though he's 100 times uglier than I am, but with his status, why would he want anything to do with me? Why is he moving so quickly? Why are you trying to hold my hand and kiss me? We've only been talking to each other for like, 1 hour? We're 1 hour into our date. Now a dumb girl could think, oh my god, he moves fast just like me. And that was the stupid me. It used to be me. And then I started to realize, nah, this dude is trying to have sex with me. He'd never marry me. He might not even really be a doctor. But see, the assumption is, based off of the other girls that he's dated, see girls, their panties instantly fall around their ankles when they see that the guy has a good job. They're willing to do things that they would never do with a broke nigga. And that's exactly what this guy was trying to pull off him. He probably had no interest in me. He saw me as an easy target for sex. I'm young, I'm a foreigner, it's exotic, it's cool. Marry and make babies with me? Nah. Fuck, absolutely. And don't be fooled. There's girls here that, run circles around me in the beauty department that are foreign women. And you might think, well, I'm way better looking than you. Nope, guys don't care. That's the problem that a lot of girls don't understand. Even if you are truly attractive, being beautiful is not 100% what makes you wife material to guys. Guys have girls in like 3 different categories. Men chime in. Maybe there's a 4th one. There's women that you actually want to marry that are respectable. There's beautiful women. There's ugly women. I'd even argue there's women that are like, yeah, you're not even fuckable. I wouldn't put my dick anywhere near you. Girls and the ugly to I don't put my dick anywhere near you, you get a lot less attention. And so guys recognize they can do the bare minimum and still get you. Then there's girls that are cute to drop dead gorgeous. And guys recognize, okay, I have to have money in order to fuck with her. But I still wouldn't marry her. Because I imagine lots of guys probably already had sex with her. Lots of guys, probably buy stuff, whatever. I don't want a wife like that. Then there's the girls that are more on the modest, conservative side. Might not even be the best looking person. But you're a respectable woman. You might be a very gorgeous woman too. Those are the type of women that these men want to marry. They don't want to marry a girl that wants spot. They don't want to marry a model. They don't want to marry a porn star. They don't want to marry a sexually liberated. They don't want any of those type of girls. They want a girl that they want to have around their family, that they want to see as a wife. That is the reality. And I had to learn this the hard way. Being real, okay? That is who they want. You can find exceptions to any of these rules. I know. But I'm talking generally speaking. And the problem is, women think that because they look good, men want to marry them. I can assure you, there are plenty of guys that probably thought, wow, Ren is very pretty, but I would never want to marry somebody that does what she does. And I tell you what, I literally had to start changing the way that I would advertise myself when I would, have my profile pictures on dating sites, because I thought nothing of it. I thought, this outfit isn't even sexy. This is modest to me. But from a Japanese perspective, too sexy. I stopped showing pictures of my entire body because while I wanted you to see what I looked like weight-wise, I recognized it was also giving me negative attention too by having pictures that didn't just show my full body, but that had me wearing tight-fitted clothes, showing my full body. Because all it did was ring, oh, I can't wait to put my dick in between her tits. That's what these guys are thinking. What are you advertising yourself as? For some of you men, let me bring it back to the men, you're walking around like freaking sugar daddies. You look like a giant paycheck waiting to be spent. There are plenty of girls, just like how women fall for this, there are plenty of girls that trick men the same way. They know that you're desperate. They know that you're lonely. They know that you want attention. So they purposefully seek you, pretend to be really into you, because they can manipulate you. One of the saddest cases that I saw was a guy that knew he was being used and he didn't care. He knew that this person was scamming him and he did not care. He knew that it wasn't really that girl, but because he had been so tricked and, put in the illusion that he's really talking to this woman, even though it ended up being like some Nigerian scammer or whatever. This from like Social Catfish, if I recall. He did not care. He was just so invested in this fake relationship that he was willing to continue to give thousands of dollars to this person. Because he was not willing to accept the fact that he had been scammed. This person doesn't exist. They do exist, but not that person. It was like some sort of model, OnlyFans star, something like that, whatever. This girl was not from where she claimed to have been. That was not her voice. They were talking on the phone. It was a fake voice or whatever. The whole thing was really just messed up. And it was sad. It was like, wow, you know you're being scammed and you just don't care. And there's men like that here in Japan. They don't care. There's men that are married to Japanese women that are clearly using them for their status, for their fame. And they don't care. If you live in Japan, you probably know a few of these suckers. But again, that's their life. That's their thing. You don't mind being used for your resources, your money, whatever. Have fun. And again, if you ask a Japanese girl, she's not going to tell you, oh yeah, I'm using you for your money. They're like, no, I love you. And make up all these crap excuses for you. Use your brain, men. Again, not telling you to go after ugly girls that you don't like. I'm just saying use your brain. If you want to be used, that's between you and Jesus. Ain't my business. But I'm telling you as a friend, as a big sister, whatever. You might even be older than me. I'm telling you as somebody that cares about you and loves you. Please. Crap, my mom's calling. Please use your brain and don't waste your time with these women. I'm going to call her back in a second. So, all I want to say is this. Please vet the women that you date. Be nice. Don't be a jerk. Don't ask them questions. Oh, you're a gold digger. Don't make assumptions. But again, think about why would this person be talking to you. Take things slow with them. It's okay to take it to a nice place, but don't overdo it. You might have a budget where you could pay $500 for the first date. Don't spend that much. Make it $150. Make it $100. See how she responds. Don't take her luxury shopping. Don't pick her up. Oh, sorry, I just dropped my phone. I didn't drop it, but it vibrated and fell on the floor. Don't take her in your Lamborghini, etc. Take things slow. Likewise for women. When you're dating a guy, you need to have sex with him on a first date. Take things slow. Everything's going off now, my dryer. So, it's okay. If she really likes you, she won't mind. If she's using you, she will have a problem with this, and you will be able to weed her out quickly. Just be careful. So, I'm done. Men, please leave your 2 cents down below if you have any dating experiences that you would like to share. Please advise other men if you live here in Japan and you've fallen for scams with this before. Please give your 2 cents down below. Ladies, have you had female friends that you knew that were playing men like this? Please also leave your stories down below. Let me know what you think. And that is all for this video. So thank you so much for listening and thank you for watching. Please leave a comment down below. Like this video if you have not already. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you would like to support me, please consider supporting me on Patreon. It's $5 per month. I make videos talking about my personal life here in Japan. You can hear more journals and rants like this one. And also, I would appreciate if you would check out my YouTube channel's homepage. I have playlists talking about just about every topic, living, working, studying, and dating here in Japan. If there is a question that you have about Japan, a video topic or idea, please leave it in the comment section down below. Or you can send me an email with your question or topic, and I'll try my best to make a video about it in the future. So that's all for now. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you for watching, and then I'll talk to you guys later.